Hello, I'm Dr. Leon Stutzman, aka Doc, with another one of these little videos designed to help you to get through these strange days in which we find ourselves, and these are strange days indeed. I'm talking this week about the prophetic power of music, about the soundtrack that runs on and on in your mind, and what you can do to reprogram your mind through music. Early on in my Christian experience, I had a problem. My problem was my temper. I loved Jesus. I was filled with the Holy Spirit. I was in church almost every night of the week. I could get out of my little pickup truck singing Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Walk across the church parking lot, someone could say the wrong thing to me, and I would go off on them in a ballistic kind of way because I had a terrible temper. That's the way that I was raised. We had a family full of people that had terrible tempers, and I thought that was just natural. And then I began to realize that wasn't reflecting very well on my Christian experience. So I purposed in my heart that I was going to do something about taming my temper. I heard a little teaching on the renewing of the mind, and I thought, that's what I need to do. I need to renew my mind. How can I renew my mind? And so I started thinking. And back in those days, I was living at home in a trailer, 50 feet long, 12 feet wide trailer. No air conditioning, no central air conditioning, one room air conditioner in the living room. And it happened to be the living room was where the family stereo was, because back in those days, every family had a stereo console. So I decided to sleep under the air conditioner on the living room floor every night and listen to gospel music while I was going to sleep. And of course, I chose the Happy Goodmans. Now, whether you like Southern gospel or not, if you don't get goosebumps when Vestal Goodman sings God Walks the Dark Hills, you need to check your spiritual level. I mean, she had a voice and she sang that song and you could just feel something in the midst of it. The Happy Good. I thought if you have an anger issue, you probably ought to listen to some happy music, and people named Happy Goodmans have to be happy people. And they did have a lot of happy. And I went to sleep every night listening to all that happy music. And something happened. I don't know if it was in the music or because I was focused because of the music, but gradually, it didn't happen overnight. I got my temper under control. I have to tell you, I still have a temper, but I've learned to control my temper because I learned to change the soundtrack of my mind. What's going on in your mind right now? What music are you hearing? Most of us get song loops stuck in our minds, and they go over and over and over, and most of the time when you get a song loop stuck in your mind, the only thing you can think of is how to get rid of this song. Why is this song? Friday, I'm going to give you some insight that will help you to recognize the prophetic power in that sound loop that's going on in your mind. There's a story in the Bible in 2 Chronicles, the 20th chapter, where Jehoshaphat and Judah are going out against the combined armies of Ammon, Moab, and Mount Seir. They had a prophetic word. And the prophetic word was simply to stand still, see the salvation of the Lord. But it went more than that, because at the same time they understood that they had to advance. And that's one of those prophetic conundrums. How do you stand still, see the salvation of the Lord, and move forward at the same time? They put the praisers out front. They put the musicians out front. Now, there are those who develop a whole theology on, well, that's the power of praise. No, that's the power of music. They got a soundtrack running in their minds, and there was a soundtrack of victory. And that assured them in their spirit that they were going to have the victory. And that gave them a mental attitude that caused them to be victorious. And when they went out against the enemy had fallen upon one another. I want you to look at the soundtrack that's in your mind and learn how to program your mind. Find some music that really speaks to you. It doesn't have to be Southern gospel. I love all kinds of music. I can get inspiration in rock and roll because there's inspiration everywhere. There's a great theological notion, the idea that a God who's omnipresent and omnipotent, is it possible for that God not to affect everything in which that God finds itself? So I believe even in secular music, there's a certain level of spirituality. If you are looking for it, are you spiritually attuned? I want you to attune yourself spiritually. Tune in spiritually this week to the soundtrack of your mind and listen to what it's saying. This Sunday at Aspire Church, I'm starting a brand new series of messages. It's going to be powerful. It's called Inspiration, Motivation, Revelation, and More. Or it may be inspiration, revelation, motivation, and more. All those words are in there. The focus is on the more, because I want you to come into that more thing that God has for your life. And He does have something more for you, even in these strange days in which we find ourselves. You can catch it live on the live stream at aspirechurch.tv. That's aspirechurch.tv on the live stream, or you can catch on Facebook, Aspire Church TV. Facebook, Aspire Church TV, live stream aspirechurch.tv. That's happening at 10 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time this Sunday. It's going to be powerful, it's going to be prophetic, and it will change your world. I'm Dr. Leon Stutzman. Friday, I'm going to show you something really special about this soundtrack in your mind and how it is really prophetic. What's your spirit saying to you? I'm Dr. Leon Stutzman. I'll see you then.